monster signings, a few juicy trades, and 4 weeks have passed since Alex Ovechkin hoisted sports' most storied chalice, officially triggering hockey's off-season. With an intriguing draft, a free agency bombshell, coaches fired and hired, and RFA cases settled and less so, the league has undergone some drastic roster shuffling over the past month. We step back to evaluate the NHL landscape and rank the moves its 31 general managers have made so far this summer in our NHL Off-Season Power Rankings. While there's still plenty of time to tinker and trade, and a whopping 44 players have filed for arbitration, some clubs have improved for the better and others have taken a step back, on paper, of course. All teams have been ranked from 1 through 31 according to off-season performance only. This is not an order of strength heading into 2017-18 but strictly an assessment of recent front office moves. 1. Toronto Maple Leafs John Tavares took a hometown discount to come to Toronto. The All Marlies ended 50-plus years of championship-free pro hockey in the city, and Kyle Dubas let someone else sign Leo Komarov for 4 more years. Pretty good month. Now, about those William Nylander and Austin Matthews extensions. 2. Tampa Bay Lightning able to see cap space the rest of us are blind to. Steve Yzerman pitched John Tavares and is on the brink of landing Erik Karlsson. He's also been busy recommitting to players already on the roster: Slater Koekkoek, Louis Domingue, Cedric Paquette, the versatile JT Miller, and top 4 D-man Ryan McDonagh. McDonagh will be 37 when his massive $47.25 million extension expires. We like the player, but this big contract could come back to bite the Bolts down the road. 3. Washington Capitals. Any off-season that begins with the parade is a good one. The loss of Barry Trotz isn't a good look, but Todd Reirden has been heavily involved as an associate coach, so the transition could be smoother than we think. We love the Philip Grubauer and Brooks Orpik trade, because there was no way either was coming back, and re-signing defenseman John Carlson was top priority. Jay Beagle will be missed, but retaining Devante Smith-Pelly for $1 million was a no-brainer. Washington Capitals defenseman John Carlson, 74, skates around the net against in front of Vegas Golden Knights Alex Touch, left during the first period of an NHL hockey game Saturday. Deck. 23, 2017, in Las Vegas, John Locker, AP, 4. Vegas Golden Knights George McPhee continues to impress. He made Paul Stastny, the second-best center on the UFA market, the highest-paid Knight, $6.5 million cap hit, but was smart enough to trade dollars for term and not signing him beyond age 35. That's the reason he was fine to walk away from James Neal. Ryan Reaves' raise, $2.75 million, is steep for a fourth-liner, as we've just watched the Maple Leafs trade away Matt Martin, another enforcer type who cashed in on July 1. Big decisions await on RFA's William Karlsson, Colin Miller and Shea Theodore. 5. Calgary Flames give Brad Treliving kudos for being proactive. Bill Peters gives the room a new voice, and the additions of James Neal and Elias Lindholm fill the void of secondary scoring that buried Calgary in 2017-18. I'm fine swapping Dougie Hamilton for the younger Noah Hanifin, who should grow into a solid second-pair guy. St. Louis Blues. The Blues' new look center depth, Braden Shen, Brian O'Reilly, Tyler Bozak, is solid, and we fully expect ROR to arrive reinvigorated. 4 years and $16 million is steep for winger David Perron, now on his 3rd tour in St. Louis, but we approve of Robbie Fabry's 1-year, prove-it deal at $925,000, and backup goalie Chad Johnson, $1.75 million, might end up being one of this summer's better value deals. He'll look much better behind St. Louis's D than he did behind Buffalo's. 7. Colorado Avalanche. The future is bright in Denver. Philip Grubauer is now positioned to succeed Semyon Varlamov in net, Ian Cole bolsters the D, and Matt Calvert represents a nice bargain pickup. Oh, and the Avs now have $14 million in cap space plus 5 picks in the first 3 rounds of the 2019 draft. Plenty of flexibility heading into October. 8 San Jose Sharks' Doug Wilson did an excellent job of clearing cap space to go deep-sea fishing this summer. He went hard after Tavares and came up short. He was able to lock up under 30 forwards Evander Kane and Logan Couture for the remainder of their prime and extend Tomas Hertl. Wilson's best move was pawning off Mikhail Boedker, who never quite fit to Ottawa, and immediately flipping Mike Hoffman to Florida at a gain. 9 Florida Panthers. Provided Mike Hoffman finds a niche, the Florida Panthers are my pick to make it back to the playoffs. Their forward core is all under 30 and under $6 million, and Michael Hutchinson was a nice insurance add to the goaltending tandem of Roberto Luongo and James Reimer. 10. Winnipeg Jets GM Kevin Cheveldayoff cleared Steve Mason's salary and lost a top 9 forward in Joel Armia. He tried to retain second-line center Paul Stastny, an excellent fit, but lost a bidding war to Vegas. Now he must focus on re-signing core members Jacob Trouba, Connor Hellebuyck, Josh Morrissey and Adam Lowry. So many RFAs. Plus, Patrick Lane is now eligible for a monster extension, and 2019 could well be the Jets' last kick at championship before Captain Blake Wheeler leaves. The cap crunch is here. 11 Los Angeles Kings old getting older. We don't blame the Kings for going for it. How Ilya Kovalchuk adapts after his 5-year NHL sabbatical will be one of this fall's most compelling storylines, while Drew Doughty's $88 million extension on July 1 robbed us of 12 months of trade rumor fodder. 12. Arizona Coyotes. Some nifty work by John Chaya in locking up both Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Nicholas Hjalmarsson a year in advance. If Jakob Chychrun turns into a player, Arizona will have a nice D-core. The offseason will go from good to great if Alex Galchenyuk, 24, turns into the center Chaya believes he can be and Mark Bergevin believes he can't be. 13. Boston Bruins. Sensing they have a contender, the Bruins were in the mix for big UFA tickets like John Tavares and Ilya Kovalchuk, but had to settle for smaller moves. Out the door walk backup goalie Anton Khudobin and Nash's Rick and Riley. In comes defenseman John Moore at a reasonable $2.75 million cap hit, the same salary as new backup Yaroslav Halak, who somehow cashed in after posting his lowest save percentage, .908, in 5 years. 14. Pittsburgh Penguins. Jim Rutherford is nothing if not decisive. He quickly made up his mind that Brian Rust was more valuable than Connor Sheary, and that Jack Johnson would be an upgrade from Matt Hunwick. Matt Cullen's return at age 41 feels a tad sentimental, but he's not sapping the cap, and his presence should only strengthen a room of guys who expect to win more cups. With so much smoke, we can't help but wonder if a Phil Kessel deal is still a possibility. Jack Johnson fires a shot on net. Jamie Sabow, Getty, 15. Edmonton Oilers. Peter Chiarelli tinkered with the fringes of a roster that largely disappointed, bringing in new assistants under Todd McClellan and picking up a couple nice value buys in Tobias Reeder and Kyle Brodziak. The big gains must come from within, so we've awarded a bonus point for not doing anything irrational. P.S. 23-year-old defender Darnell Nurse still needs a contract. 16 Minnesota Wild. New GM Paul Fenton made a series of low-risk gambles on veterans Eric Fehr, J.T. Brown, Greg Pateryn, and Matt Hendricks. Not exactly difference-makers. More intriguing will be how he handles the forthcoming extensions for RFAs Matt Dumba and Jason Zucker, each of whom enjoyed superb seasons. Also, we like that Fenton didn't fire Bruce Boudreau, who isn't to blame for the roster's offensive shortcomings and cap trouble. 17. New York Rangers. Firing Alain Vigneault and going full rebuild was a bold move for a Showtime club, but at least the Rangers are sticking to their plan and didn't fall victim to July 1 mistakes. Rookie bench boss David Quinn has nothing to lose now that expectations have plummeted. 18 Buffalo Sabres. Any off-season that begins with the number 1 overall pick ain't bad. We also like the return Jason Botterill fetched in from Pittsburgh and St. Louis, a pair of moves that helped both sides. Bringing in more veterans and removing a frustrated Ryan O'Reilly could shake up a fragile dressing room. Nice to see Carter Hutton get a chance to be a number 1 goalie, although he'll have his work cut out for him playing behind a softer defense. Buffalo Sabres select Rasmus Dahlin with the number 1 overall pick in the NHL draft. Bruce Bennett, Getty, 19. Philadelphia Flyers. As many as 12 teams expressed interest in James Van Riemsdyk, the best winger still available on July 1st, and the Flyers got him. Philly now has 3 forwards making a minimum of $7 million for the next 4 seasons, and that doesn't include Wayne Simmons, who is due for a raise in less than a year's time. 20. Dallas Stars. God bless Jim Nill, who never shies away from the big move. He took an honest shot at both Tavares and Karlsson. The return of Valeri Nichushkin is a positive, the inability to move Jason Spezza is a negative. The Palat door remains open. 21 Columbus Blue Jackets. Riley Nash was a decent UFA pickup, and letting Pittsburgh overpay Jack Johnson was the right call. But the Blue Jackets' off-season is marred with knowledge that 26-year-old star Artemi Panarin, UFA 2019, has no interest in signing an extension. He'd mark a huge loss for a franchise that can never seem to get over the hump. So, do the Jackets go all in now while they still have the Breadman and Sergei Bobrovsky under contract? 22. Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks window feels like it's closing. Corey Perry is untradeable, Ryan Kessler is unhealthy, and while Bob Murray isn't afraid to make big moves, he's been relegated to cheap depth pickups. Brian Gibbons could be a good one, as he works on raises for Andre Kays and Brandon Montour, each coming off breakout campaigns. 23. Carolina Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon has wasted no time making his mark. New GM, new coach, new goaltending tandem, new power play quarterback. And we still might get a Jeff Skinner and or Justin Falk trade. Petr Mrazek is younger than Cam Ward, but is he better? Will the offensive-leaning Dougie Hamilton ultimately have a better career than Noah Hanifin? We'll see. From an entertainment standpoint, the Hurricanes haven't been on the radar like this in a while. Calgary Flames defenseman Dougie Hamilton, Derek Leong, Getty, 24. Montreal Canadiens. Mark Bergevin did well to not overpay for Ryan O'Reilly or trade the 3rd overall pick in a panic. But the news that Montreal will start the season without a true no. 1 center or a number 1 defenseman, Shea Weber needs up to 6 months to recover from surgery, illustrates the state of a franchise a long way from contention. The Joel Armia pickup was nice though. 25. Chicago Blackhawks. Not sure we would have signed a 38-year-old Chris Kunitz, but we do like Cam Ward at 1 year and $3 million. Last season was proof that Chicago needs a proven backup behind Corey Crawford, whose health is still a concern. 26. Nashville Predators. David Poyle's relatively quiet offseason is a testament to his already building a contender. RFA depth forwards Ryan Hartman and Mika Salamaki still need contracts, and 2 big contract decisions loom for the near future. Top 4 defensemen Ryan Ellis and Vezina Champeka-Rene both turn UFA in 2019 and can be signed to extensions now. Most pressing is the case of Austin Watson, who was arrested on a domestic assault charge. 27. Detroit Red Wings. A seeming embrace of the rebuild, trading away Petr Mrazek and Tomas Tatar for picks at the deadline, was oddly offset by older acquisitions like Thomas Vanek and Mike Green. We loved seeing Jonathan Bernier bounce back with Colorado, but a 3-year deal is surprising. Ken Holland was gifted Philip Sedina. Major work is still to be done. He must re-sign RFA's Dylan Larkin and Anthony Mantha. 28. New Jersey Devils. Ray Shero was surprisingly quiet this spring, a point to which his $23 million in project cap room can attest. The GM exercised patience in letting UFAs John Moore, Michael Grabner and Patrick Maroon all walk. His UFA bids either came up short or he's playing the long game. 29 Vancouver Canucks. We won't be the first or last to say that 4 years is too much term for Jay Beagle and Antoine Roussel. That said, drafting Quinn Hughes, a potential power play quarterback for years, was a major win, and re-signing Sven Baertschi for a $3.37 million cap hit might look like a bargain if he keeps raising his game. 30. New York Islanders finally stripping Garth Snow of his power, checkmark. Hiring Barry Trotz at top dollar, checkmark. Losing the face of the franchise for nothing and then signing Leo Komarov for 4 years, row. 31. Ottawa Senators an utter gong show. Mike Hoffman and his 30 goals are gone, no. One goalie Craig Anderson wants out, and all signs point to Erik Karlsson's departure. Next up, Sens fans can look forward to Mark Stone's arbitration case. There's a silver lining, however. We like the Brady Tkachuk pick.